Well, there you go, Andre. Mandalorian and Grogu might be the start of a trilogy, mate.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
okay, this is the first
You see what I
time
did there?
hear
Did you
of
like
this.
that?
Hercules.
Okay,
Hercules.
this is exactly what I was saying. This is exactly what I was alluding to. If the Favreau thing is a one and done, it doesn't mean anything. But if it isn't, if there suddenly is some kind of indication that Favreau has some kind of expanded presence here, this is what we need to pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, let me sort of give you an intro to all this information now. Anyway, Nick, we get your thoughts on this because there's some concept art for Ahsoka season 2 as well. It's pretty shit concept art, just as an FYI.
Imagine.
But obviously, Lucasfilm announced plans for Mando and Grogu. We don't still haven't had confirmed whether that is going to be season 4 or not. Although allegedly it's said to still be in the works. I doubt that. I really doubt that. And then, of course, in that same press release that was done randomly online with no fanfare, Ahsoka season 2 is in the work as well. Now, the piece of concept art, here it is. Yay.
Who did that? A first grader?
It's terrible. It's also AI.
Twitter account.
Yeah.
That's what DEI hirings will do for you.
I'm figuring that's AI. I'm not 100% certain.
That looks like ball pen. I'm not going to lie. That does just look like ball pen.
It is signed, so I don't know. But so was the other AI art that they produced to show us the new, like Mando and Grogu. So
yeah, I don't know. I shit on them a lot, but I think that's ballpoint pen. It looks like a pen.
I'll take your opinion for it.
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, however, Making Star Wars, again, good website. They've been right about quite a lot of stuff. They're reporting that The Mandalorian and Grogu is more than likely a retooling of Mando Season 4, which we thought anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, we knew that. But apparently the idea is for The Mandalorian and Grogu to be the start of a trilogy, which will also include Dave Filoni's untitled movie, which will be a part of that, allegedly.
Okay. Yeah, well, no surprise there, because that's also Mandoverse.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I think that's terrible anyway, because to me, right, why that's terrible, when we heard the news Mando and Grogu was coming, people were like, oh yeah, that could be good. Maybe not. There's also negatives to do with that because of who's there as well. However, this now, if it is the start of a trilogy and Dave Filoni's movie's part of that trilogy, then I've got no hope that this is going to be good, because Dave Filoni will be telling Jon Favreau how that movie's got to be to line up to his movie.
Yeah.
And thus, the creative element of Jon Favreau that made Mando so good is gone.
Yeah. And that's what we all believe happened with Mando Season 3, that there was some sort of shenanigans going on that changed up, which all his plans pretty much got thrown in the trash as soon as they fired Gina. And they got rid of Rangers of the New Republic. Mando Season 3 was put off for a year until they could figure out what to do. I mean, they keep shooting themselves in the foot, and anybody that comes and tries to work on a project ends up getting caught up in the freaking dumb friendly fire that Kathleen Kennedy's doing over there. So I mean, thinking about all this, I don't blame any of these people that are asked about working on Star Wars projects that turn around and say, no, I'm not working over there. I have no interest in doing a Star Wars project or a MCU project. You know, at a certain point in time, I mean, that's like the cream of the crop of projects. You know, you if you could get land a Marvel project or a Star Wars project, now, man, you're doing good to find anybody to actually take on a project. And Filoni's going to end up destroying anything that Dave's or that Jon Favreau's gonna want to end up doing, you know, with his crap that he's going to inject in there. I don't see there being any hope for anything that Lucasfilm does until it's completely gutted and sold off to somebody else, and they bring in all new people.
That's
We're just
fair.
gonna keep getting more of the same.
I'm not quite as negative about it, but I do know this, and Andre will agree with me, and you've already mentioned it, Mr. H. We only get these announcements because they don't have anything else good to report at the quarterly meetings. That's it.
Yeah.
So if this actually happens, great. But they had such low effort and such a rushed time frame that they announced it in, as Nick pointed out, this little blathering weirdness on their website. And it's just we can't be snowed that many times, kids. I mean, we all are smart. We know that you're only announcing this stuff, anything that could possibly be positive, because you have no good financial news to report in your quarterly call. That's my prediction is now, because of these announcements that they're making and this other stuff they're leaning into, is that their numbers look terrible. And it's going to give a lot of weight to somebody like Nelson Peltz and many other people that want to replace Iger and the existing board. And they're not wrong.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Andre, take us home with your thoughts. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, you're all right. This is
absolutely... Andre's dead.
Sorry to disappoint. Yeah, I see that. You're all hoping. So I was like waiting a second there just to give you that false hope. No, you are all right, of course. But I think there's more to this. Especially now when we learned that there's a trilogy, because the way that this was presented right away in yesterday's announcements, but I had a hunch we're going to learn much more in the days to come. Now suddenly we are talking about a Mando trilogy. Just recap history here. 1 year ago, the entire Mandoverse was supposed to be concluded in the Dave Filoni movie, his butchery of Thrawn. Now it's supposed to be concluded still in the Dave Filoni movie, as per yesterday's announcement, plus a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And now there's suddenly a third movie in here as well. And now I'm beginning to think that maybe it's not Favreau that has to adhere to what Filoni wants to do. Maybe it's Filoni that has to adhere to what Favreau wants to do. Because remember, if this is speculation, I don't know this, but if this is Iger coming in, going above the head of Kathleen Kennedy, he could also go over the head of Dave Filoni. Because remember, Dave Filoni was made the head of all things creative at Lucasfilm, which would imply some significant amount of power. But how did his Ahsoka perform? It performed worse than Cassian Andor, and Cassian Andor was flop. I mean, that's not going to do much for his level of power. What was Kathleen Kennedy's contribution to Disney's bottom line this year? Losing them, 300 million on Indiana Jones? Is Bob Iger's back up against the wall? Is he really going to let them muck things up anymore? Again, maybe this is just wishful thinking from my side. But there have been some people out there who have been saying that Jon Favreau has more power behind the scenes than any of us think. And this announcement that I had no idea of, that now suddenly there's a Mandalorian trilogy, maybe
it's not an official announcement yet, remember.
Okay, fine. But now suddenly we have more rumors. And this is how things get out.
Good, reliable source, though, as well. I've got to point that out.
That's what I
would
mean.
bet money. I bet money that it's wrong.
I think it's a non-zero chance that Favreau is going to have more power going forward. And honestly, the only chance that Star Wars has at getting back to any kind of success is Jon Favreau. As I said in our video of, if not yesterday, then 2 days ago, I don't remember right now, I think it was 2 days ago. But anyway, Jon Favreau is not a new hope. for Star Wars. He's the last
Yeah.
one. It's him or nothing. And anyone with half a brain knows this. I mean, even in Disney, they should have the data to see this. That when Favreau had full power in The Mandalorian season 1, and I know that Filoni had increased influence in season 2, but still he ultimately ran the show. That's when things were as good as they were ever going to be following The Last Jedi. That was the only thing there was enthusiasm for. Then they mucked it up, reduced his influence. Then it all went to hell.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Just out of pure self-preservation, Iger has now gone in the last couple of months after strikes and everything, and suddenly given Favreau more influence. Maybe that is why Sinead Boyd Anoy, whatever her face is, the WEF plant, reaches out and goes speaking to CNN out of the blue on presumably her own accord, so that desperately hoping to collect some kind of grassroots support for her movie. Boy, did that backfire. If anything, it's told everyone in Disney, yeah, we need Favreau here.
Yeah. Well, there you go, ladies and gents. There you go.